Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So the day is finally here. We've been waiting for a while to plant out our Bangla Khodus and our pumpkins. So today what we're going to do is we're going to plant out all our Bangla Khodus. And what I've got here is half a barrel of homemade garden compost. In here I've mixed in my vermicompost, composted wood chips and compost from my hot compost piles. Thank you, just put them down there and I'll wear them in a second.
Hello!
So we've got all of this, and what I'm going to add to this, I'm going to add some well-rotted horse manure. Now if I show you this, look at that, look how brown that is. Just looks like a big slab of chocolate, that, doesn't it?
Yummy!
Just looks like a big slab of chocolate, that. So some nice well-rotted horse manure. Lovely. So just mix all that in. Some more homemade compost into there. Mix all that in. Lovely. Now we're going to use that to start planting all of my Bangla Khodus, all my pumpkins, and I'm going to try and get my tomatoes into the ground today as well. So it's a busy day. It's either going to be a busy day today or just over the course of this weekend I want to get everything planted out. Whatever's in the greenhouse, that's all that I want staying in the greenhouse, and what I'm going to grow in the greenhouse. But all my outdoor crops I want out this weekend. We've waited long enough. The weather looks like it's going to start stabilising. Hopefully some showers next week, so that'll help settle everything. So let's get it all out this week. Into this bucket, what I've prepared is a load of compost, garden compost, a load of manure, and this is an old dustbin style bucket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant 3 plants into here. Got one Bangla Khodu here. Just make a small hole and drop him in. The way I set these buckets up was at the bottom of the bucket I added loads and loads of wood chips. So there's about half a foot of, there's about 6 inches of unbroken wood chips, followed with about a foot of manure, and then manure and compost mixed in together. So there's still a lot of heat in here, and that'll help keep these plants warm. Oh, well, that's interesting. So there's an ant's nest inside my compost pile in my khodu. So I'm not going to plant that. I've never seen that kind of thing before. And that looks like a load of ants' eggs. So I'm going to put that back. And these ants are crawling all over me now. So that's really interesting. I've never seen that before. I'm going to put that back. We'll leave that there for a few minutes. I've never seen that before. I'll ask my mum what to do. Magicটা কি করতাম?
এটা মাঝে খেতে
ফিফড়া আর ফিফড়া রেন্ডার বড়
মালি
কি করতাম এটারে
বারাতা হো সামনে দিবা
No, I'm gonna need to go have a shower because these ants are crawling all over me. Oh, I'm itching. So my mum's saying just leave that one for a little bit and we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that after. Hi to me, man. See, that's my rule. When all else fails, when I've got no idea what to do, then I run to my mum and ask her, and she'll direct me. I've still got ants crawling all over me, so that's. There's a beautiful root ball. There's 2 plants in there. In this bucket, dustbin's big enough for the three of them. I'll just put that in. And as that settles, what I'll do is add more compost to the top, so that'll be fine for now. That'll be fine. That'll be perfectly fine for now. I just want to show you something here. So you see these little nodules here? Those little nodules, they'll turn into roots. So you can keep planting up to there, but don't plant further up because you'll end up with stem rot. So up to where those nodules are, that's fine. To keep the compost up to there, that's fine. And there's a worm egg. Lovely little worm egg there. Let me get that underneath. There we go. So the next one that we're going to plant, these are my Dinosaur gourds. So I've got a chorus of kids shouting dinosaur.
Because I like dinosaurs.
And again, it's the same mixture. So we've got wood chips, so that amount of wood chips, then a layer of mixture of rough compost with horse manure, and then a layer of my homemade compost. So the one that I'm going to plant now, this is what they're calling the Dinosaur Gourd. So, oh, look at that. Look at that lovely fat worm at the bottom.
Oh, can I see?
Yeah, there.
Whoa!
So you're going to go into your new home. Push that in. And again, look, those nodules there, they're above the planting. So that the soil was there, and the nodules go up to there. So they're about a centimetre higher than where the soil level was in the pot. So you can add soil up to that level without causing any issues of stem rot. Stem rot, basically what happens with stem rot is, as the plant, if you plant gourds too deep, what will end up happening is the stem will get waterlogged and they'll rot, and then the plant will die. So what I'm going to do, the reason that I've added the soil up to where those nodules are, they're going to root out, so that's going to be perfectly fine. Anything higher than that is where you'll end up with stem rot. So we've got another same setup again, and here we're going to put, this is a really good site for where we always get decent gourds. So what I'm going to do is with this one, is we're going to plant 4 plants into this one. And as you can see, the chickens are already lurking. They're hoping to get their share. See that they're all... There we go. Look at that root ball, just wanting to get away. When you do end up with a root ball like this, it's sometimes a good idea to just tease these bottom roots a little bit loose, so they can find... They'll do it on their own anyway, but it's just sometimes good to give them a little bit of a helping hand. Dug a hole in. Now I'm just gonna let that go. Oi! Oi! See, that's the problem with this side. My initial vision when I did this was I would grow gourds up and then I'd grow the plant across the bottom of the chicken house, but these guys just won't let you do it. Here, go on, shift. So now, instead of growing it up there, I always grow it on a trellis coming out this way. otherwise we're going to finish them
Yeah,
off.
I need her. I have to paint these. Pretend it's her.
So again, I've got the same setup again, another dustbin, and it's going to house 3 plants in here. These plants are a lot younger. Look at that, I've just used an old mushroom tray to grow this one in. Run out of pots, so we just used an old mushroom tray. And even then it's got a really nice root system at the bottom. So that can go in there. These are a lot younger plants. Look at that root ball. Again, just tease it. Give it a little tease. And that's it. That one can go in there. And the idea here is one's going to go up this arch. One of the plants going to go up this arch. One's going to go onto the top of the shed. One's going to go onto the top of the old greenhouse. Hopefully I'll get the storeroom built by the time this plant's getting big enough so it can go in there, and it's going to be on top of a permanent residence then, rather than having to move it about. So I'm at my gourd arch, and what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to peel back the mulch. Look how lush that soil's staying underneath the mulch. So I'm just going to peel back the mulch. Just make a nice planting hole. So that's a nice planting hole there. Taking that soil out, we can do something with that afterwards. But what I'm going to add now is that mixture of compost that I showed you, all of the, the chocolate manure. So into there we go with that. Give that a nice work in. That's fine. See, with gourds and pumpkins and all of these kind of plants, they really like a nice rich soil. So here's one of my gourds. As you can see, it's already starting to flower. Let's get this one out. Bismillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So that's that into the hole. Mulch it on the top with the compost. Level it. Make it nice and level. Now adding that extra layer of mulch there with compost, what that's going to do is the worms will work that into the soil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover that back up with the wood chips that I peeled back. And there we go. So that's another gourd planted. And what we're going to do is we're going to grow, this arch is going to just be covered with gourd plants. So one after another, around the sides. Underneath the arches is where my onions are going to stay. Like I mentioned before, the onions don't need a lot of sun. So as these gourds mature, the lack of sunlight for the onions isn't going to be a big deal. one of the things it might do actually in August, and July and August when it gets really hot, it'll give the onions some nice shade and help keep them a bit cooler. By keeping them a bit cooler, what's going to happen is that hopefully they won't bolt as easy, they won't run to seed as easy. So I'm just going to carry on planting my gourds around here. I'm going to space them. I'll probably space them about a foot and a half apart. As long as I can squeeze through the middle, that's enough space. I'm not a big lad, so that's fine.
Well,
Just teeming with earthworms, absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Absolutely wonderful. Put that in the compost pile. This is one of the things that you do when you make a planting hole. Is you never leave smooth edges on the planting hole. You always want to try and rough it up as much as you can. So look, that's how I used to plant the plants in the wood chips, in the plant pots. I'd always had a layer of wood chips at the bottom for drainage, and that's really encouraged the worms in there as well. See, little red wrigglers, baby red wrigglers doing the work. So I'm just going to add that again to the planting hole, just like I did with the last one. Compost, lots and lots of compost over the top. Firm it in and mulch back over. See, by mulching it straight away like that, we're going to stop it from drying up. Now I've got a bucket of soil here. That soil is going to go straight onto the compost pile, and it'll further help break down my compost pile, and it'll come back to the garden as even better soil when it comes back. I'll carry on doing this. So I've got one. The aim is to have one big plant on each four corners, and a couple of little plants in the middle. So I'll keep doing that, and I'll come back to you shortly.
Mom, take that down.
So we've got, alhamdulillah, we've got 4 Bangla Khodus planted at the 4 corners. What I'm going to do is right in the middle there, I'm going to put another one here in the middle, and another one in the middle down that side, and grow them up. We've got another 2 Bangla Khodus planted there, plus the 9 in the big dustbins. So hopefully, inshallah, that's a lot of gourds this year. That's a lot of gourds we should have this year, inshallah. So I'll leave it there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.